Tato yuddha parishrantam samare chintaya sthitam Ravanam chagrato drishtva yuddhaya samupasthitam Daivataischa samagamya drashtumadyakatoranam upagamya bravid ramam agastyo bhagavan rishihi. Verse 79. Tata sugriva sahitaha gatva tiram mahodadhe samudram kshobhayamasa sharairaditya sannibhaihi.
Tata sugriva sahitaha gatva tiram mahodadhe samudram kshobhayamasa sharairaditya sannibhaihi.
Darshayamasa chatmanam samudrasaritam patihi samudravachanachaiva nalam setumakarayate.
Darshayamasa chatmanam samudrasaritam patihi samudravachanachaiva nalam setumakarayate.
So we have seen so far the great march of the Vanara army from Kishkinda reaching the shores, the southern tip of India. And a march of the armies for a great purpose, which Sri Rama was not a silent march, And so with all the excitement, the jumping, the leaping up the trees and so on, and roaring and whatnot, they finally reached the shores, and that's where you didn't hear the Vanaras anymore because of the roaring sound of the waves of this great ocean. And so while this happened and the group has arrived, the army has arrived at the tip of at the edge of the waters, in Lanka, the news has reached Ravana. The news has reached that this big army has come marching, and what is going to happen? What is it we need to do? All the havoc that Hanuman had caused looks like something big is emerging, and therefore they were Ravana did have a little shake-up, and in his shake-up he calls a big meeting and asks opinions of his ministers and others, and of course all of them have only one language. Hey, you are the king of the universe, and so who's going to defeat you? There is no issue, there is no problem. Let them be there. We are all here to fight and kill them all. In that whole big Rakshasa, the demon family, there was one soul who stood up, and that was Ravana's own brother, his younger brother Vibhishana. And he stands up there and gives his wisdom talk that this is not right, you are the king. It is not right what you have done, and therefore wisdom will be, it's still not too late to give Sita Devi back to Sri Rama. Tired of listening this in front of the others, with all the ministers and people, Ravana walks away and goes into his palace. Vibhishana follows him and goes there, and again again tells him not to do this. Prahasta, the ministers, one special minister was Mahapashva. He meets Ravana also and privately tells him, I have an advice for you to finish this matter. The whole matter is this Sita. And therefore the only way to really proceed is just use violence against her. Use violence. If she doesn't come on her own accord, use violence against her and close the matter. And Vibhishana hears this. Ravana tells him, I wish I could, but I cannot. Because I have a curse from Brahmaji himself. I use force against two of the celestial, Apsaras, Punjika Sthala Apsara, whom I took forcefully, and she ran to Brahma afterwards and then sought refuge. And from then Brahmaji warned me and said that if you do this, Adya Prabhriti Yam Anyam Balat Narim Gamishyami Tada Te Shatadha Murdha Phalishyati Na Samshayaha. This is what Brahmaji said. He said, from today, if you ever take a woman forcefully against her wish, your head will burst into 100 pieces. Informs this demon Mahapashva that this curse is on me, and therefore I cannot touch any woman forcefully. I cannot take them, and so if I do, my head will burst into 100 pieces. And so he left Sita Devi alone, and Vibhishana again appeals to give back Sita Devi to who? Back to Rama. And when he does that, Indrajit, his son, Ravana's son, is so furious. It is like demeaning the king. And he argues with him. Vibhishana again says, no, this is a mistake. Return Sita Devi. And Ravana is so fed up, tells him, with you here, I rather be with the enemies. You are worse than an enemy. And this kind of a language, he really denounces Vibhishana, and so much so that Vibhishana has to leave the kingdom. Leaving his family behind, leaving his family, his wives and so on, Vibhishana realizes he doesn't belong to the demon race. There is no order in what they are doing. Taking Sita Devi is very wrong. It will lead to destruction. And with this understanding, he decides to take refuge with Sri Rama himself. Sri Rama with 4 demons for refuge. And as he comes from Lanka to the other side, he remaining in the air, mid-air, he declares, because he cannot land, the whole army is there. He declares his purpose of coming, but the army, the people, the king, Sugriva, they are not convinced. To see Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, arriving with 4 other demons, they are not convinced of his intentions. Although Vibhishana does say that I have told my brother King Ravana to return Sita, and he doesn't listen. I have been like a slave to him, abandoning my son, my wife. I have come for refuge to Sri Rama. Well, Sugriva believes, never trust demons, arrest him. And Jambavan says, well, let us observe him, but with suspicion. We need to be alert. And here Hanumanji, in Hanumanji there is no such doubt. He says, Me nasti samshayaha. There is nothing to watch, there is nothing to doubt. The clarity of his words, the wisdom with which he spoke, that is enough to tell that it is not a demon talk. His very stance, because Hanumanji was very sensitive to understand, to study a person's expressions and all. Remember early on when he meets Sri Rama, it's a study of the very body language, the words, and Hanumanji is convinced about Vibhishana, feeling that he should be accepted. Sri Rama hears all this and he makes one declaration, a very famous statement in Ramayana. In this whole culture, people recite this, and that statement of Sri Rama is Sakrideva prapannaya tavasmi iti cha yachate abhayam sarva bhutebhyaha dadami etad vratam mama. This is Bhagavan Sri Rama's declaration. He says, Sakrideva, once, just once in a person's life, if he comes to me in surrender saying, Tavasmi, I am yours, O Lord. Just once if a person comes to me with the surrender in heart, and he says, Abhayam sarva bhutebhyaha, to those people I will give my protection. I will give my protection for their life, whoever it be, he who, whether he is a demon or a vanara or a human or a celestial, whoever he be. So, abhayam sarva bhutebhyaha dadami etad, this is my vratam mama. This is my promise to life on earth. Look at that. And really, people to this date, this is a great statement of Sri Rama which people believe, they have Shraddha, they trust, they worship. Thus, Sundara Kanda in these portions becomes so, it's a daily recitation because for that protection of Sri Rama. And so he says, Anaya enam Harishreshta, bring him here, O King Sugriva, bring him here to me. And Vibhishana, whoever it be, even if Ravana himself wants to come, saying, Tavasmi, I will receive him with open arms, I will give him protection. Whoever he be, it doesn't matter. Bring this Vibhishana here. Well, Vibhishana comes, Sugriva, they all praise Sri Rama's Vratam promise, and Vibhishana comes, surrenders to Lord Rama and explains away what all went on. And so they accept him. He's in the camp now. In the meanwhile, Ravana also sends a spy, Shuka, and who comes, and this, as soon as he arrives, the Vanaras capture him and hold him back, Well, moving forward with the story, the question is now how to cross the ocean. And Sri Rama waits there with this group for doing namaskara, praying to Samudra Devata, and then calling him to give a solution. No response from Samudra Devata. And Sri Rama loses his patience. Never so far you saw Sri Rama lose his patience. Now he loses his patience and he tells Lakshmana, it looks like this ocean Devata is arrogant. He refuses to even come to see me. Let me show him, I will dry up the sea. All of us will move on foot. We will just walk on the bed of the ocean. it takes nothing for me to dry up the sea. And thus he strings his bow and discharges the arrow. He begins to discharge this one shot of arrows, and the arrows go towards the bed of the sea, penetrates deep into the ocean and throws up the waves high up like a big tsunami, The waves just rise hundreds of feet high up, and with that all these animals, the crocodiles and all, they all end up rising up. The whole life ecosystem under the waters in the ocean, everything is disturbed. And seeing this disturbance, Samudra Devata comes. He shows up. He comes and then he does his pranam, and he tells, I cannot go against my nature. What is it I can do? We cannot dry up this. The Vanaras cannot walk on the bed. It is not possible. Please find another way. Sri Rama is ready with his Brahmastra to shoot. And he says, please find another way. And he says, I cannot allow. If you want my waters to solidify, I cannot allow that, because so many life forms are there. They will also get solidified. But one thing I can tell you, that if you all do cross, I will see that no crocodiles, alligators, none of the whales, no animals will, sea animals will hurt these Vanaras. I will see that no harm comes to them. I will try to hold up whatever you do to cross. And so Nala is a great Vanara. He is an architect. He can construct a beautiful dam. Let him do his part. I will see to it that the dam is held up. And so with this promise, Samudra Devata releases himself, and there begins this great, great journey. The journey of what? Now the next job is they have to build a dam. How to build a dam? In the ocean. And so every one of the Vanaras, they have to collect material, and the materials collected was what? Trees, rocks, stones, whatever they could grab, whatever was in the vicinity, they would grab and put it there, grab and put it in the waters. But whatever was put in the waters were held up. It was held up. It was not allowed to fizzle out. It was held up. And in this manner, on the first day, the reeds, the logs, the stones, the rocks, 112 miles masonry work was set up by these Vanaras. The second day, another 160 miles was covered in bridge making. Third day, 168 miles. Fourth day, 176 miles. And fifth day, 184 miles up to the mountain in Lanka, Suvela mountain. In the yojana, it's very nice. 14 yojanas, 20, 21, 22, 23. And so they covered the 800 miles, the 100 yojanas. Between that point and Lanka, a bridge was constructed. A bridge which even thousands years later, NASA has managed to capture in the image. I'm sure many of you have seen that image. You can Google and check Rama's bridge, the Setu, Rama Setu. And it's there underneath the waters on the ocean bed. You can see this bridge even today. Amazing. And so here we are, it's really a work of divinity. And they reach the other side, and it is said when the bridge was being made on the ocean, all the celestial worlds came, stood, stunned. They watched this whole amazing bridge constructed across the ocean. And Samudra Devata protected it. It was 80 miles wide and 800 miles long was the size of this bridge. And with this, Sugriva tells Sri Rama, you climb the back of Hanumanji, and Lakshmana, you climb the back of Angada. Let them carry you. And all the Vanaras, they walked. Others walked in the middle, some were in the front. There were those in the two sides, but everybody didn't want to walk. Some of the Vanaras wanted to swim in the waters. So while some were walking, others were jumping into the waters, swimming, enjoying, playing, and coming back, drying themselves, again jumping into the waters. And they had a grand gala time walking across the ocean, and they finally reached Lanka.